With an objective to be inspirative, innovative and informative, Neoscience Hub reports to provide information in the domains of life sciences, technology, pharmaceutical sector, aviation and so on. Today we are here in a Hyderabad-based Atal Incubation Sector which is on the path to promote and establish world-class incubation centers and nurture technology-based startups. With credit to more than 110 publications and 11 to 13 US patents to his name, AIC CCMB CEO Dr. Madhusudhana Rao is here with us to unfold certain information regarding incubation center. So sir, welcome to Neoscience Hub.
Thank you for coming up with your Science Hub to find out more about AIC.
Can you brief us on the role of AIC CCMB?
AIC stands for Atal Incubation Center. This is a incubator basically for the focus is on life science startups. This was started in 2017 by CCMB to execute a project, a grant given by Niti Aayog, specifically to support startups. One of the requirements of this grant is that there should be a company should be formed, a not-for-profit company. So Atal Incubation Center CCMB is a Section 8 company, not-for-profit, but engaged in supporting life science startups, in Telangana, Andhra, whatever. I mean, we are not limited to any region, but mostly in Telangana region.
What are the focus areas of the management?
As I mentioned, it's mostly on life sciences, but at the same time, some of the strong points of our parent organization, CCMB, is in genomics. Genomics and, related to health is one aspect, but we are into health sciences, biotechnology, digital health. All of them come under, our this thing. So we don't really discriminate in the beginning. We invite all the applications, but we don't go into, we are not agnostic like many other incubation centers where they take up manufacturing, agriculture and everything. So IT focus and all that. We are not into that, but whatever that kind of overlaps with life sciences is something that we will look at seriously.
So sir, since you have launched in 2017, how many organizations have benefited from it?
I would put it differently. How many startups that got benefited, if you look at it that way? Over a period of time, I think we get around, in these 4 years or 5 years of time, we must have gotten something like 400 to 500 applications of different kind from various startups. They wanted to do something, use our facilities and all that. So in last 4 years, something like nearly 70 companies were with us physically, and presently there are something like 27 companies with us. So we have over a period of time we are able to directly engage with 70 companies, 70 plus companies, and probably we must have helped another couple of hundred companies in a counseling way, not in a way where they come and be with us physically, use our facilities, do their work, not in that fashion, but we give a lot of advices to people. So you can say 150, 200 companies were, came in contact with us and got some benefit out of it.
So sir, what are your thoughts on new national health policy which promotes technology? Will it bloom startups in India?
See, national health policy is already 5 years old, right? The way it is said, many things are happening. In fact, because of the pandemic, also there is a sharp focus on health per se and the contribution of technology to health. Like, I'm sure now everybody knows about RT-PCR, which probably 2 years ago nobody knew. And now people they do believe in the importance of technology in reducing the health burden. So these are all the benefits of such a challenge we faced. But as far as national health policy is concerned, there are many things that were kind of said which definitely touch upon, right from, distributed health, equally distribution of health, and increasing the life expectancies, and empowering the local health systems and things like that. Availability, accessibility, and public participation, these are the kind of thumb rules of national science policy, health policy. So I think they are doing well, but the expenditure hasn't gone up as it was promised to 2.5% of the GDP. So that is something that probably they are spending on health, but not in the same bucket as they promised initially.
How is India positioned in terms of technology innovation?
That's a very kind of question that always makes us feel bad, more because Indians have done extremely well in terms of publications, which are basically innovations and doing deep science. But when it comes to, we are probably in that category, we are probably top 5 in the world, like in terms of publications and coming up with new innovations, new science, new concepts and things like that. But when it comes to translation, the technology translation of the same, we are way below. Somehow our intellect is not converting into a technology that benefits the people at large. So that is where many of the schemes that present government is also taken up, especially on innovation and entrepreneurship and supporting a lot of startups. Unless the ideas are supported to go to the next level by the innovators, it is not going to translate it easily. So how do you support the innovators, so those who are interested in technology translation, support them so that their ideas are explored, and whether they can become a product and benefit people. So now few things are happening, but still we are a long way to go. We are nowhere near what many developed countries have been able to do.
So, whose hand is in it? Like, who should come first to develop that?
If you want to put where should be the changes for some things like this to happen in a positive way, the first thing that you should look at is uh, the belief in technology transfer, the belief by the technology transfer by all the stakeholders, like whether the corporates, whether the public, or the government itself. That belief is still not there. We still are comfortable with low risk, technologies. Like many of the technologies that are supposed to be in India are more or less have been matured and in place in some other country before they are transplanted in India. We don't take risks. The risk aversion is something that is not very friendly for technology transfer, because whenever you talk about technology transfer, there will be failures. Failures are not the reason why you should not make an effort, but that's what happens. So in this context, what happens is unless there is a support systems, not only financial, other support systems, like how to uh, help a product to get into the market. Usually the innovator doesn't have all the experience. How do you educate him? How do you make him understand the difficulties? All that is also important. Just having an idea is only a beginning of something, but treating it as a business and going for it is always going to be a challenge. That's where we need to get a lot of support system. That is one of the focuses of our incubation center.
So,
Like, yeah.
so how many schemes are being followed currently?
We have, besides the major one, we have two ongoing projects on where we call one from Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. One DST project began and got over. Uh, in these are two projects which we try to support a lot of young talent and also startup companies. But also we have received a couple of grants from the different agencies like DST and things like that, where we are now we are given fund to support, to give money to very promising companies, what we call as seed fund. The seed funds are something that brings in, this is something that's very crucial because uh, the innovators need to be financially sustainable. So unless you kind of, provide some kind of a seed fund, not a big money, but at least some 15, 20, 30 lakhs, that would really help them to cross some of the barriers of technology transfer. That is one. And also now we are able to attract corporate social responsibility grants also. So that is something that's happening. And we also started a project on uh, how to do drug development without using animals. Because in drug development, a lot of animals are used, killed, tested for testing. We are trying to find out alternate methods because there are many. But somehow that awareness and that usage of them are not there in the drug development companies. So we are trying to promote that also. So these are the various kinds of schemes that we do.
How has technology changed the shape of research in India?
That's they are go both hand in hand. I mean, technology changes the science constantly because it gives you better tools, better reagents to explore. And now some of the things that we could never think of, we are able to do it very easily. Say for example, in the pandemic also, sequencing the virus is a big challenge, say a few years ago. But now sequencing happens very quickly. Within maybe in a day or two you can finish sequencing. So once you know the sequencing, it helps in making a better policy decisions. So technology has been exponentially growing in last decade, and obviously it is contributing to science in a way that we never thought of. The kind of questions that we can ask are very different from what we could ask say 5 years ago. So these are all some of the things that technology has really changed the shape and the capacity to do science, in the sense ask questions. I can look at single cell, I can understand the entire proteins in it, DNA in it, sequence it, look at cancers in a very different way. All these are all tremendously exciting. I mean, there's no question about it.
How many startups have you funded, and can you brief us on what are the innovations made by them?
At least out of these 70 plus companies, at least some 12 to 15 companies went into the next stage of their maturity. So some of the companies, they left us, because this incubation center is not meant for scale up. If something you establish a technology and you want to put it in the market, make more of it, then our place is not the place to do, because we don't have the infrastructure. So these people go out and establish their own facilities. So one company developed water for dialysis patients, the quality of water for dialysis patients. So they're doing very well. And like that, there is another company that is producing these monoclonal antibodies for cancer therapy. They did a lot of work here, but now they are getting a lot of outside orders, so they had to get out and then start doing it elsewhere. And there's one more company two companies went to UK, where they are working on some low zero calorie sugar substitutes. Like that, a lot of companies have gone. Some companies have come up with a coating of fabric with insect repellent oils. So that's very useful in food storage and things like that, those kind of things. Like that, several companies have gone out, they have doing well. But one thing one has to remember in this is the cycle for a life science product, from the starting to it gets into the market, it takes at least 4 to 5 years. So what got started few years ago now started seeing the light of the day. Like we have a company that is interested in maintaining temperature for transport of vaccines, for example, or blood or vaccines.
Okay.
Okay. And today, if you look around, vaccines are transported in ice packets and things like that, which is not correct. I mean, you know, there could be it's not the way to be done, because in a ice packs you can't maintain the temperature beyond a certain time point. So what do? Especially in villages, for example, you don't get ice packs. So what do? So this company is developing battery operated, almost like a mobile refrigerators.
Okay.
You know, it can few kgs in weight and then 4 liters in volume.
Okay.
Those kind of things are very important to deliver vaccines for the last mile. So technologies like that, and also there are kind of light sources that can kill viruses, so that you can sanitize the room. These kind of technologies are very important, and they are safe to you can be in that room when the light is on. It's not like it is ultraviolet light where it damages. They generate a lot of radicals that will kill the viruses in the room. So these kind of technologies will reduce the viral load or increase the vaccine delivery, things like that. So they all really help in you know, making us feel better when in a common places, in a offices and things like that. You know, if you have these lights, you know, there is a better safety and things like that. So there are several technologies that are ongoing. Yes.
So, as you said, how many stages are there for the startups in this flagship, sir? How many stages do they go through?
Usually, what we call as uh, technology readiness levels.
Okay.
Okay, when an idea is formed in your head, it is technology level 1.
Okay.
Okay, when it reaches 8 or 9, that means it is in the market.
Okay.
So in between, there is a thing called idea to proof of concept,
Okay.
making a minimal viable product, and also getting intellectual property,
Okay.
and also getting a regulatory approvals, doing a marketing surveys, establishing a marketing partners, you know, manufacturing or whatever. All these are all various stages of the growth. So we usually look at not the more of the second level things, but we look at issues where idea to proof of concept stage, whatever that is required for a startup, we'll try to provide.
Okay. Coming to your personal career, what are your achievements, sir?
So I was a scientist at CCMB for almost 30 years. I retired in 2016. I always interested in technology transfer, so I started this organization. By my research work, I'm more of a protein engineering person,
Okay.
and I published more than 100 papers, and I have some 13, 14 US patents.
Yes, yes.
So these are all something that happened during the career, and also guided some more, nearly 17, 18 PhD students. So it was very good. I mean, like, you know, it's very fruitful, but we always feel, you know, unsatisfied because some of the things that we did did not reach the public.
Okay.
That's the reason why this center.
Okay. What are the future projects of this flagship?
We just want to become bigger. You know, I know there is a tremendous need, because this is how things need to be done. Unless we constantly provide almost like a schooling kind of a thing for startups. Right now, in fact, we have initially started with 10,000 square feet. Now we took 20,000 square feet and we are finished. We don't have, if somebody new comes, I don't have place to accommodate them.
Okay.
So, but this is a very, very critical thing that need to be supported, because if you look at the West, especially we look at especially US for how they do things. What we are doing is, this is what exactly US has done in 90s. Okay, where they support university professors for their innovations in a big way, and create a technology transfer offices like what we are doing, and also promote in such a way that investors are interested in putting their money.
Okay.
Okay, today in India there is a lot of investment goes on, but that's all in fintech and edutech, which is something that doesn't touch us, because the reason for it is in life science, the incubation time is more. That means an idea to a product, it takes, as I said, in 4 to 5 years. But in IT, it is not the same. Probably in a year's time, you can put an app in the market. Whether it is good or bad, that's different. But basically, you can put a thing in the market, which we can't do. So, Indian investors always look for quick returns for their investments, which does it, then life science is not an attractive area to invest. We suffer. But that similar feeling doesn't exist in the West. They want to bet for a longer, time, which Indians don't do. It will change. I think things are changing now, but they should change fast.
So what is your message to science students and junior scientists?
Yeah, I mean, so far, if you ask a student with an MSc degree or a PhD degree, they would say, what is that you do next? Probably they'll have two options. One option is either I'll go to do PhD and become an academician, or I'll go to a company and join, right? So these are the two options. Or somebody who finishes their PhD, they say, I plan to go abroad, do a postdoctoral and see how it works out for me. So now those times are gone, because the number of people that are being coming out, graduating is more, and the opportunities are not going to increase and correspondingly. So this is something that's the biggest gap, where some of those, fraction of those graduates should look at entrepreneurship as a career option. Mainly because, not that they should do it, I'm not saying that, but all of them are not same. There are some people who have a business oriented mind, so they should explore. In today's conditions, there is a lot of support from the government for those categories of startups. There is plenty of programs for if somebody is interested in it. But passion is important. You just don't take it because, another application I'm putting. You must be sincerely interested, believe in your own work, you think that has value, and then you can convince people. And they should not be a job seekers always, they should be job creators. If they have that mindset, probably they would look at entrepreneurship as one of the options in their careers.
So thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving time to Neoscience Hub and describing on the role, benefits of this organization. Also encouraging message to junior scientists to begin with their research ideas, though it is risk-taking. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the time you took for all the interview. Thank you very much.